The 2011 Euro 12 Premier League was the 20th season of the Premier League since its establishment in 1992. The 2011 Euro 12 fixtures were announced on June 17, 2011 at 9 o'clock BST. The season began on August 13, 2011 and ended on May 13, 2012. Manchester City won their first league title since 1968. Beating Queen's Park Rangers 3-2 on the final day of the season with stoppage time goals from Eden Dar 3/4 Zico and Sergio Aga 1/4. The title was City's first Premier League success, making them the fifth club to win the Premier League in its 20-year history. It was the first time the Premier League had been won on goal difference and the first time a previously relegated club in the Premier League had won the title. The league was contested by 20 teams. 17 returning from the 2010 Euro 11 season and 3 promoted from the Football League Championship. Championship winners Queen's Park Rangers and runners-up Norwich City gained automatic promotion whilst Swansea City gained promotion through the Football League Championship playoffs beating Reading for Euro 2 in May 2011 becoming the first non-English team to play in the Premiership in the history of the current league setup. All 3 promoted clubs avoided relegation for the first time since the 2001 Euro 02 campaign. The season was voted as the greatest Premier League season in the Premier League 20 Seasons Awards. Season summary: Manchester City won the title in a tense finale, their first championship since 1968. City's local rivals Manchester United were the early pace setters, leading the table until October when they drew at Liverpool allowing Manchester City to overtake them. The following week, City increased their lead to 5 points with a shock 6-1 away victory at Old Trafford, which they maintained until December, when they dropped points and their lead narrowed, but City remained in front until March, when a defeat at Swansea City saw them drop behind United. City's bad form continued for the next month while United went on a winning run, so that with 6 matches remaining United were 8 points ahead of City and the title seemingly decided. However United, then faltered with a defeat and a draw in their next 3 games, while City won all 3 to narrow the gap to 3 points. City then beat United 1-0 at the Etihad Stadium to move back ahead of United on goal difference. Both sides won their penultimate matches to maintain the situation. Going into the final matches, which were played simultaneously, City were top of the league, ahead of Manchester United on goal difference. However, a Wayne Rooney goal away to Sunderland gave United the advantage. A 39th-minute goal from Pablo Zabaleta, his first of the season, put City back on top at half-time. In a dramatic second half Gibril Cissé copyright equalised for Queen's Park Rangers in the 48th minute. Shortly after, Joey Barton of QPR was sent off for elbowing Carlos Tar copyright Fez. On his way off the pitch, he kicks Sergio Aga 1/4, attempted to headbutt Vincent Kompany and squared up to Mario Balotelli. Despite the numerical advantage, City went behind after Jamie Mackie gave QPR the lead in the 66th minute. As time wound down in both matches, it appeared that Manchester United would win the title with their victory over Sunderland. But Eden Dar 3/4 Zico equalised for City in the 92nd minute. While United players waited on the field at Sunderland for a possible trophy presentation, Manchester City's Sergio Aga 1/4 scored the game winner in the 94th minute to clinch the title on goal difference. The 6-1 loss was even more important than it seemed at the time, as if the score had been 2-1 then both teams would have ended with identical records which by Premier League rules would have meant a playoff game at a neutral ground to decide the title. For most of the season, Tottenham Hotspur were in third place, a couple of points behind the Manchester clubs, and there was much speculation as to whether Tottenham could mount a title challenge. However, from late February onwards their season collapsed, starting with a 5-2 defeat to local rivals Arsenal, who they had been 10 points ahead of before the game, and just 4 wins in their last 13 games condemned Tottenham to finishing a point below Arsenal, who finished third to join Manchester City and Manchester United in the UEFA Champions League, completing a strong recovery from a disastrous start to the season including an 8-2 defeat at Manchester United in August. Tottenham finished in the fourth and final Champions League slot but missed out on qualification for the competition because Chelsea's victory in the 2012 Champions League final automatically entitles them to defend their title in the 2012 Euro 13 tournament at the expense of the lowest-ranked team that would otherwise qualify for the competition through league position. This is the first time that this rule has been implemented in the Premier League, having been introduced by UEFA after Liverpool's controversial qualification for the 2005 Euro 06 UEFA Champions League. This consequently marked the first time that the club finishing fourth in the Premier League had not qualified for the tournament since the fourth qualifying spot was introduced in the 2001 Euro 02 season. Newcastle United finished fifth and qualified for the 2012 Euro 13 UEFA Europa League. Everton finished seventh, just above local rivals Liverpool. Despite finishing above them for the first time in 7 years, it was Liverpool who claimed the final Europa League slot, by virtue of winning the 2011 Euro 12 Football League Cup. Elsewhere in the league, QPR avoided relegation, despite losing to Manchester City. Bolton Wanderers could only draw at Stoke City, failing to overtake QPR, and therefore joining Blackburn Rovers and Wolverhampton Wanderers in being relegated to the Championship. For the second time in the Premier League's history, none of the three clubs promoted from the Championship in the previous season were relegated at the end of the season, with the other two teams, Swansea City and Norwich City, finishing 11th and 12th respectively. The last time all three newly promoted teams stayed up, Blackburn and Bolton were two of those teams. The teams ending the 2010 Euro 11 season in the bottom three places of the table were relegated to the 2011 Euro 12 Football League Championship. West Ham United finished in last place, ending the East London side's 6-year tenure in the league. Blackpool and Birmingham City both joined them in relegation, following dramatic games on the last day of the season. Queen's Park Rangers as 2010 Euro 11 Football League Championship winners and runners-up Norwich City were directly promoted at the end of the season. Queen's Park Rangers appeared in the Premier League for the first time in 15 years, while Norwich City returned after a 6-year absence and 2 successive promotions, becoming the first teams since Manchester City to do so in 11 years. The last team to be promoted was decided by the Championship playoff final on May 30, 2011, where Swansea City defeated Reading for a Euro 2 to become the first Welsh-based team to enter the Premier League. Stadia and locations. Though the official name of the stadium was Sports Direct Arena, it is more commonly referred to as St James Park, before its change back to St James Park in the 2012-13 season after Newcastle United signed a new sponsorship deal with Wonga.com. 2 Molineux underwent redevelopment during the 2011 Euro 12 season. The season began with capacity limited to 24,259, but increased with the opening of the bottom of a 2-tier new stand during September 2011. Personnel and kits. Note: flags indicate national teams has been defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. 1 According to current revision of list of English Football League managers, 2 Following Virgin Money's acquisition of Northern Rock on January 1, 2012, Virgin Money started to appear on the team's kits from January 4, 2012. 3 Malaysia Airlines will appear on Queen's Park Rangers home kit, with AirAsia appearing on their 2 away kits. 4 Erasma is a subsidiary of Autonomy. 5 Stalayan Petrov was Villa's captain until March, when he was diagnosed with acute leukemia. Gabriel Agbonlaya was handed the captaincy in Petrov's absence. 6 Chris Samba was previously Blackburn's captain. Following Samba's transfer to Anzi Mokhajkala, Robinson was handed the captaincy. 7 On December 7, 2011, Vigia twisted his knee during United's Champions League clash at Basel and left the field on a stretcher. Vidic missed the rest of the season and Patrice Evra assumed the captaincy of Manchester United. 8 Queen's Park Rangers ran sponsorless until September 12, 2011. In addition, Nike will have a new design for their match ball called Ciatiro, featuring a modified flame design. Managerial changes, league table. Results, updated to games played on May 13, 2012. Source: Premier League. One of the home team is listed in the left-hand column. Colors: blue equals home team win. Yellow equals draw. Red equals away team win. For coming matches, an A indicates there is an article about the match. Season statistics.